So I'll have some money into that. I can tell on the front tires. It's not extreme, but it's something I gotta watch that it'll need an alignment. But other than that, I've been keeping the equipment up to date and been doing good.
Okay. Any questions so far? From anybody?
Russ, you're not spraying anymore this year, or you,
Yes.
oh, you still are?
I'm gonna spray today, sprayed yesterday. I'm going out mainly with just Milestone, cause this last rain, man, the Canadians came. The little ones are out there about this big, so
Good time to go after them.
yeah, you get that frost and it turns them, and I keep watching them. You gotta wait till the temperature's about 50, which I can put the chemical that's on them, but I wait till the dew gets off a little bit and then go out and I use 7 ounces of Milestone and just hit them Canadian spots. And if they aren't turning black, you can keep spraying. Once they start turning black, then the frost has got them. But
Yeah.
yeah, we got that little shot of rain and holy God, they're everywhere. You know, and they've been holding back. Sow thistle, we got lots of that this year.
You use your big sprayer then?
Yes.
Did you? How many acres can you, or you shouldn't say acres, but how much can you cover with that full?
The big truck, I put 2,400 gallons on, holds 26, but 2,400 comes out to 80 acres of spraying. You got about 3 acres per ditch each, or per mile each side of the road, and it kind of depends how many field approaches and acreages and that, but I can, with that big truck full, I could probably do solid spraying somewhere around 30, 32 miles of ditch. And like the pickup with 500 gallons, I can do 6 miles. So going to that big truck, I can go out and spray for 3 hours straight versus go out and spray for a half hour or spend an hour go filling. And that's why we went to the bigger truck, and I can cover a lot of ground in a hurry with that. Usually the wind will shut me down before I run out of spray.
Yeah.
And that big truck helps with the township in their cost because it takes 10 to 12 loads to cover 82 miles. It's about 200 acres on a township. So you go out and spray 6 miles, go back and load, and you keep running back and forth. And I can do a township in 2 loads with the big truck and then might have 2-3 miles left. So, yeah, I can cover a lot of ground with that big one. You can get out there and get something done.
Yeah.
But you can get hooked with the wind too. You get loaded up and get started. You know, that's the game you play, but I try cautiously with that. Equipment spraying. No other questions on that?
As far as trouble spots, people cooperative more so this year than last year?
Pam, there's a setup here.
It's pretty much the same year after year. I have my list of people that I gotta keep going after, and if I get a complaint, I check on it for 3 years. That's a rule I made up for me when I took this over, that if I get a complaint on yours, I'll call you. You and I make a deal, you're gonna take care of it, but I go back and look next year and the year after. And it takes some time to get some of them done, but I'd say I'm about 97, 98% do it, and then you got that 2 percentile that fights you till, you know. This year, I think actual complaints was in that 35, 36. And then we get some oddball ones that we deal with. You know, yeah, dandelions are natural here. They're not a noxious weed. Sorry, I can't go tell your neighbors spray their dandelions, but we get a few of them with the Sioux Falls area. You know, they get some calls on them, but and I get some calls on state roads and like Harrisburg, Lennox, somebody calls and they know you have to go to the city first. And if they fail, then it comes to me, and they don't like that, but that's the way it works. But no, most part, they do take care of it, and then I follow them up.
Most of the phone calls come to you or to Terry?
Most of them come into the office on the phone, so they either through Terry's office or mine, they'll leave phone message. There's some that have my number from the past that'll call me, different farmers that have dealt with somebody, and then they'll just call me directly. But yeah, I'd say 80, 90% come through the phone at work. And then there is a website now that they can get into the county and leave a email message too. I'm getting 3, 4 of them.
Can you, is that on the Lincoln County website, that,
Yep.
what is it under, like?
You go to, it's under the highway department, if I remember right. Yeah, it's under the highway, when you go in departments, I think it's highway department and then weed is down there. I chased through it the first time they did it and I haven't gone back. I just look at the emails that come into it.
Take the shortcut.
Yeah. Yeah, they have a choice. Somebody gets in there chasing, looking for something. Like I said, I should probably look into that you brought that up to where, yeah, if they get into the county site, type in search weed, and it should be able to give them a place
Yeah,
to where they.
I think that's a good idea, Russ.
You know,
Because
'cause
people
peop-
know who to call and, you know, I know we don't mind fielding calls, but if
Yeah.
we are, that younger generation, they,
I
live and
would
die with
say
that.
20% of the calls I get, they've had a long, hard thought before they'd ever make the call, because nobody wants to complain about your neighbor, but you're also sick and tired of the weeds. And, oh, you're not gonna say name. And I said, no, everything's confidential. If you call me, your name will never go forward to the next person. That's with me. And I say, all you gotta do is tell me who the weeds are. Okay, now I've seen them, now it's me chasing you, not, because I don't wanna start farmer wars, you know? Somebody,
That one that I called you on here last fall. The individual was asking about follow-up. Can you get follow-up off this website too, that something was done or some?
I suppose if I have their email address, I guess I haven't paid real close attention if I can email them back for an
Because
answer.
they were asking me, well, what have they done? And I said, well, I have no way of knowing unless contacting you for a follow-up on it. But if they can put follow-up on this website, I mean, that would,
Yeah, you could potentially put it on there to where I put it in. And everybody wants, when they call in for a weed complaint, I seen weeds, I called Russ, it better be gone next week. That don't happen. I have to give them, I think the shortest I can give them is like 7 days. And I shoot in that 10 to 15 days. You gotta give somebody a fair chance. And if that fails, then you start paperwork again and you can be another 10 to 20 days or 30 days out depending. Everybody wants it gone tomorrow, but legally, I can't go pushing too hard, too fast.
Comes closer to the full year.
Yeah, it's,
oh, gee.
I know there's a couple of them called and they really didn't like it, and I said, most of the time, it's 30 days before something gets done unless I've made phone calls direct to people I know and say, can you do something? And they'll go out and mow it. But if you're going after somebody, there's legal steps I have to follow. And you gotta, to find somebody's phone number, good luck.
Yeah.
So it's a letter, so okay, now we're 4 days just to get a letter out the door to them, and then you gotta give them that 7 to 10 day window. And then if the weather hits or whatever, but I can give follow-up people, and I've told them, you can call me back, and I can tell you where we're at on it, that, yeah, we're in process, or they're going to mow, or gonna spray, but,
This one here that I touched bases with you on, apparently this is an every year issue, so that's on your list of.
yep, he got
Okay.
called in the spring.
Yep.
They were gonna build something there, and I can't remember what his business is. He had it on the list to do, and it spaced it off from my phone call in the spring, and when I called back, then 3 days later, he had it mowed. And I've chased him down, and I'm working with him to possibly, I'll go spray it for him. Go spray it, fall spray, try and get the Canadians knocked down, because it was originally a construction site, and whatever they were gonna do fell through, so then all this dirt was piled, and it turned into a weedy mess. And then that road, there's several that drive by there and complain about that one, so I've been working with him, and I send him a note every year, and then I usually gotta remind him about July that, hey, yeah, we gotta go do this.
Oh, okay.
So to answer your question about the contact us, if you go under the highway department, underneath, way at the bottom, it says contact us. There's an email that they can submit requests, whether it's highway or weeds. And then underneath the weeds page, which is under the highway page, the contact information is the county highway department. And they can call in through that. And again, that's all through the county website, through lincolncountysd.org. They can go through And even I think on the main page, they can do contact us, which is a county as a whole, and they can pick which department they want their request to go to, so.
Okay.
And we do get several of those, not many for weeds. Most of them are phone calls. We have gotten, this year, we've gotten several requests or asks from planning and zoning. People are calling them and asking, and then they just forward them on to us, so.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Anything more on trouble spots?
No, I pretty much hit that. Like I said, I've got the ones I'm chasing done as far as our county ground. Yeah, there's gonna be lots of sow thistle and Canadians as well be chasing next year.
How have prices, how do they compare next year to this year? And
They
what you
actually-
use for spraying?
Some of it backed up a little bit. It's pretty much flat is what I'd call it. Nothing has jumped up. Well, depends on world economics, what's going on, who's fighting who. But I know a lot of it has backed up just a little bit. Milestone did come with a fall deal. If you bought early, you'd save just about $10 a gallon. So I got my Milestone bought there, and then I'm gonna try a chemical called High Noon, which is Milestone in a new chemical rinse core to see if I get a little better control. But chemical costs are gonna stay about even. And being I did more spot spraying, I have chemical left, so I won't be buying as much this year to get me back up to where I'm supposed to be. So this year is gonna show less chemical use because of being so hot and dry and it wasn't working. I can't see dumping $35 an acre on the ground and it ain't doing no good. I can't do that. So we used less chemical this year, but next year, if we can get a decent year, get some rain in the spring, then our chemical will be back up into that, what are we, about 45, 50,000 a year? Around there somewhere. As long as we don't have some wild chemical costs, you know.
Yeah, you got down here, next year you got it 52,000 for weed chemical.
Yeah. I am gonna switch from dry AMS to liquid. I have too much trouble with them bags being so rock hard and you gotta pound them to death to get them to work, so I'm gonna switch to a liquid. That, I think it's 3% more, 2.8% more in cost, but when I gotta have a 3-pound hammer there to pound the bags apart to get the AMS to melt and get it in the sprayer, it's like, can't be doing this. And I can't go without it because of the hard water, so I gotta have that.
Okay, any questions about their reports? Thank you, Terry and Russ, for your diligence in putting these reports together for us. Okay, on to old business. Do we have any old business sitting out there?
Mr. Chair, maybe we should approve his reports
Oh,
first.
okay. Sorry about that. Do we have a motion to approve those reports?
Also move.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Passed. Thanks, Jim. Okay, do we have any old business out there?
Don't think we got anything going. Supposed to be the weed tour. I do have some photos and it's just of one spot I'm going to deal with. I don't know if it's the elevator or a farmer, but they spray Roundup beans and kill meat of there in the ditch. And then it's solid weeds. So I need to go speak to them to quit doing that. Quit killing off my ditch, please. Yeah. Down there. go. Oh. There we go. This is our weed tour portion we're supposed to do. This is one I've had a couple times now. And he sprays the field and then you kill 8 foot of the ditch. I need to go talk to him because as you can see the nice crop of weeds there and I can't drift into your field. Please don't kill the ditch. I understand it's just grass, but when you kill it dead, then I've got nothing but a lot of weeds to deal with. The other one, this is my kochia. This is 128 going straight west here. This was sprayed in last week of May. And yeah, this is a week and a half ago. The kochia just, it's bad in that road, and I got it, like I said, I got a couple different chemicals I'm gonna try and get ahead of it, because Tordon milestone really don't do much on kochia. If it's 3 inches or less tall, you might burn it a little bit. But other than Roundup, well, I don't wanna kill the ditch, and I don't wanna kill the shoulder, because I want grass to grow on the shoulder, so that's one of my big fights with our roads. And our sow thistle, unbelievable amount of sow thistle that showed up this year with the drought. When the grass went dormant. Well, like out here on Highway 11, there had to be a 4-acre patch on the side where they didn't farm. Can't believe how many seeds are out there that are just being held back. Yeah, it's a little hard to see. This is our Canadians that are coming back now. We got that little shot of rain, and I go on all the roads, and all these little Canadians everywhere. And like I said, I'm gonna keep spraying. If they ain't dead, you get that 50, 60 degrees yet, they're growing. Gets a milestone on them. They're building roots is what they're doing, so it's a good time to spray them. So I'm gonna be a lot of spot spraying until nature finally starts turning them black, I know. But that was the grand weed tour. I'm guilty of not taking pictures during the summer. I make scribble notes all over, but I could be better at that.
Well, you've got a better job than taking pictures. Or a more important job also.
Well, I do have a book that has every single road by the mile, and as I'm spraying, I'll jot notes down. They get back in the office, but then they go back, I should have took a picture of that. Well, and I don't, but. Any other questions for Terry or I?
Was there any new additions for noxious weeds for Lincoln County this year, or it's just the same old, same old?
Same one. We're
Okay.
same. We re-upped ours, is it 5 years now? It used to be 3. It's 5 years is what your weeds stay, and then every 5 years you review them. We reviewed them last year, this time, went through every one, and then, yeah, we stayed the same. We got plumeless, spotted knapweed, musk thistle, and then the 7 state ones. Just keep generic. The only one I'm watching is chicory. If you go down Highway 11, the blue, that gets a little bigger and a little bigger all the time, and that can be added. It's more of a West River thing in prairie grass, but it's actually something they plant to feed animals. So it's not bad, but it can start taking over and wipe out grass. Right now, it's just in the ditch on Highway 11 in a couple spots, but I've noticed every year it just gets a little bigger. Well, every time you hay it, you move it around.
It's getting longer and longer and longer. Must go, what, it was just a
It-
quarter of a mile, and now it must be strung out for
2 and a
a mile and a
half,
half or 2 miles.
2.5 miles.
Mile.
Yeah, and it's every time they hay it, you haul the bales away, then you drag a few more seeds and the wind blows. It's, chicory's in the dandelion family, so, yeah, it can get going, but I haven't seen it out elsewhere in the county. It's just kind of that spot. Oh, it's south, 4 miles, 5 miles south on 11, and then stretches farther south. I did see up by T, somebody actually planted it to feed, they planted about a 4-acre patch of it to feed their whatever they had, horses, goats, whatever, and then now this year I see it's been tilled up and planted to alfalfa, but that's one of them weeds that, yeah, it's a cure-all too. It'll cure the common cold, and so. Hey, go ahead, take a bite. I'll stick with cough syrup. All right, that's all I
Thanks,
got.
Russ. I guess we're on to new business. Do you have any new business laying out there?
No, I think we got you up
I've
to
got
date.
I've got a question about all these volunteer trees growing in the fence lines and stuff. Your second picture here, there was a tree and it's actually in the ditch.
The ditch ones I go after, as I,
And township roads are bad some places, terrible bad. How long, even along the county roads, where there's a building site there and the trees are really,
Yeah.
I mean, wouldn't it help with snow removal, get rid of all that stuff? And
yeah, some of
I
them.
think volunteer trees should be a noxious weed because I'm on a campaign to get them around the farm.
You and I are on the same campaign because I've got 30-some gallons of spray that I use specific for killing them off. And I can show you, well, there's a mile of County 125, it was terrible. I got them all killed back. Year and a half later, they're coming back again. It's just a place where they catch. Along the groves and that, I know Terry and Jared, they pick out every year that starts to block vision and stuff or getting close, then they'll work with the landowner to get them trimmed back. There's, I think, 3 places this year, and then I'll go in and try and spray the little ones, keep the little ones back. But yeah, as I'm spraying, especially with the Rangers, and I do specifically go after trees, I'll pick a road and, yeah, you'll drive 30 miles, but just go hit them using it's Element or Garlon is what I use. That takes them out.
Four.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know, I've got that from you, and that stuff works.
it works
It
good.
It
Yeah.
works
Where
good.
I getting on the edges, well, there's a couple spots. There's a bad spot. I actually pulled a tape measure to find right of way because I cannot get out of the right of way. Now, 99.9% of the farmers say, get rid of them trees. But you get that 1% that wants that tree there, so I gotta be careful that I don't go beyond the fence when I do that. If the
I
ones-
agree, Russ, because I had an incident too where it's just barely inside the fence line, and we approached that person several times about, we'll take care of it for you, because we can't see cars when it comes to the stop sign, but
No. Yeah, there's some, and that's their land, they can do what they want, I understand that, and unless it's a real bad vision deal, then I push a little harder, but,
And I know our township too, a few years back, got rid of most of the trees too, but now you find out too, even a tree this big, you cut down, then that starts
Yeah.
growing again, and now that tree is 6 feet tall again.
and see, with cutting them down, the minute you cut them down, and if you put this stuff that I've got on it within an hour, it'll kill the stump. But if you don't put it on within an hour, you're kind of wasting it. It's gotta be on the leaves or on a cut stump, but it works, it takes the roots out. But yeah, I go after them, and, yeah, there's places I cleaned up, and yeah, they're sprouting back up again, but I go hard after them. That's usually my mid-July, beginning of August. It's a little too hot to be spraying regular, then I get the Ranger and I'll pick a road and go chase down and spray them, and then you come back and where you killed off 10, 3 more pop up, but job security, there's plenty of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, we go work on it. I know Jared and I have talked on a couple of places where he's cleaned out the trees, and then I go back and I'll spray to kill all the little brush that's there. I'll take the big ones out. Yeah, that's a never-ending battle, and you get some of them, the groves, they hang way out there. Then you're going into cutting into somebody's grove, you gotta get permission and discuss with them and work on the vision issue. Yeah, we chase them
Is it
all.
up to the landowner to take care of his trees, or can we actually go
That-
in the county?
If it obstructs the view in that, and you'd have to get the attorneys involved, but if it's hanging way out, okay, the tree is on their property, but it's infringing on somebody else's, you can take it off. And most of them are pretty good, hey, we just want to trim it back. It's like if you want to take whole trees out, then it can be an issue.
Okay.
But, yeah, every landowner's different. One, you take a twig off, they're going after you, the next one will say, do what you want, you know.
We checked into this, Canton Township checked into this a couple years ago about the liability issue, about trees growing in the ditches in the right of way, and they say that is the landowner's responsibility.
Yeah. I think on townships, and don't hold me, I'm not an attorney, but years ago when I was on a township board, I think townships can tell landowners, you have to take care of the trees in the ditch,
In the right of way.
in the right of way.
Right.
They're
And that's what
responsible.
we found out, but we never went forward with it because we didn't know how to address it because it creates all these issues about, well, if you send a letter out, then you got to follow up or you got to take care of it yourself down the road. And then you apply the cost of that to their taxes the next year.
Yep.
It just
Yeah,
got to
it's
be.
same, goes down the same route as a weed complaint. Yeah, if you want to go after them, you got to tell them, take care of them. Well, it's got to be, I guess in my mind, it's got to be an issue, it's a vision, it's a hazard, then you got to work with, we got to do something, and most will work with you, because most farmers don't want that tree in the fence, because you go down the field and the beans are this tall by the tree, it's taking all the nutrients, but there are people that, no, you won't touch their trees, so I got to be careful I don't get across the fence, but we work on them a lot, and there's 340 miles of road, so there's a lot of them. I know over by Ralph, there was that stretch going north off your corner, and I've sprayed in there, I don't know how many times. I didn't go look this year, don't tell me.
Somebody's been out there cutting that tree grove down.
Good.
I mean, they've gone in there and just wiped out chunks of it.
Oh, good, because I'd spray them up to the fence on that corner, but
I say bad, I think they're trying to plant somebody's house there, and I don't want a
you
house
want a
there.
house, okay. Yeah, I work on them, and you get them spots, especially low spots, and then, yeah, lots of them, and we go after them, but it's added onto the list of things to do.
Roger, when I was on the township, we looked into that too, and it was the landowners.
Landowner's responsible for brushing trees in the
Yeah,
ditch.
on a township.
Yep. The township's only responsible for the noxious weeds.
Yep.
And that's providing a service.
Yeah, I know, we'll see what next year's like. I know late, we got that little shot of rain and I see a bunch of little ones coming up again, they're like weeds, they're deep rooted. And as soon as they get a douse, then they'll come. Early on in the spring, anything that's under about 18 inches tall, my Tordon will take them down. It's not killing them, it'll take them out. Then I go back with, that element that finishes them off. That's a root killer. But then 40 of them come to the funeral of the one you killed, so you get lots more.
Not being any new business, we have announcements here. District 2 meeting in Mitchell, November 2nd. You'll be
Yep.
attending that?
Yep, we have to for our grant. 2 people have to go to the district meeting and then 2 people to the conference, so thought I'd put that on there. And then,
Who's going with you?
it'd probably be Monty goes with me, the guy that helps me spray out to Mitchell. And then there's a weed survey that has to be sent in by the end of this month. I've already sent that in. And we will have a financial fiscal report has to be in January. And the grant application, we sent that in about a month ago. We send in for called a contractual grant. It's a 50-50 match with the state. We usually get between 4,000 and 6,000. It depends on how much the state puts into that account. And if only one person goes to the conference and one to the deal, then you get half. And last year, when the conference was, we had that bad blizzard. It took me, what did it take me? Just short of 5 hours to get to Aberdeen to So we only got half because only one of us made it, because we needed plow trucks, so.
Is it just a 1 day?
No, that's a 3-day deal. The conference is. Mitchell's a 1-day deal. And that, me and either Terry or the other guy that sprays with me goes to that one. That's just a 1-day.
Where's the conference this year?
It's out west.
Out west?
Spearfish.
I love that one.
I think it's spearfish. I gotta look.
You get to drive 6 hours for not much of anything.
Yeah, it's a weed conference. It's pretty hard to be. You pick up a few things. It's talking to other counties and stuff, and now understand why they do what they do, or nobody would go to them. But yeah, it's a necessary evil.
Any questions, anybody? Next meeting schedule?
Yeah, we got to. That's got to be in December. Where's
I
Terry?
thought it was down as November. Wasn't that set out on the website?
Is we got one in November, see, we gotta get it, cause that's the next meeting. This one should have been in August, but we kept, so we're gonna be back to back on meetings here. Yeah, we gotta have that one done, cause then you'll fill out your mileage and stuff, so the auditor can get it. And Terry's the one who's gotta set that up.
Third
Do you guys have a preference somewhere in the last week of November, first week of December?
November would be the 21st. Thanksgiving.
I don't know if anybody's traveling towards the end of November for Thanksgiving or anything, but
Yeah, I don't know. Should I do some chasing and fire out email to you guys, like some optional dates? I know that one we gotta try and be close to the beginning of December so the auditor can do their book work, which it's for their end more than ours, but
I don't have a problem with that. Does anybody else have a problem with that?
I'll do some chasing and we'll,
The third Tuesday would be the 21st of November.
And that's the same week as Thanksgiving.
Yep. That'd be when the commission has theirs off.
like I said, I can chase with Terry on that one. And that meeting should be pretty brief because I'm gonna buy some chemical and a little spray in between now and then, but that one we fill out them mileage reports and stuff for the auditor. And I don't think we got anything else that'll happen between now and then, but we gotta have the 4 meetings a year,
To qualify for the grant.
qualify for a grant. That's, which I gotta send the minutes in. I haven't done that yet.
So,
Give Sherry some time too on doing those.
Yeah.
so we'll just wait to hear from,
I'll chase with Terry. We'll get
Okay.
one. I think you're right. It's when we'll be, but I'll see where we can hit that. And it's just, yeah, it'll be a very brief meeting because I won't have anything new in the next 3.5 weeks, but we gotta have 4 meetings so we qualify for grant. So I'll chase with Terry on that one and get sent out to you guys. The email deal works for everybody, if we play tag through that.
fine with, me.
All
Do we
right.
have anything else?
I don't.
If not, do we have a motion to adjourn?
Also move.
I'll second that.
Second, okay, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion passed. Thanks, everybody.
Thank